Hello, everyone. I wanted to go over some things that I've been playing with Masacre. By the way, I have Spanish coworkers. They told me that's how his name is pronounced. Um, I'm not going to go over all the abilities. We all know how he kind of works. You get his bat ignited, and then you can just tear shit up. But what I want to talk about is how to get that bat ignited. And his signature ability there increases his crit rate, and every crit gives you ignition charge. You can also get it when you hit into a block, which is the easiest way when you don't have him awakened. And then the other way to do it is with his synergies down here with Domino, who I do not have. Every time his ignition expires, he gains between 1 and 5 charges. That is a huge help. But today we're just going to go over how to do it without the synergy, do it without being awakened. Just techniques to kind of ramp him up. Because once you get that bat going, he can destroy stuff. The debuff stacks so high, he shuts down regen, can cause bleeds, incinerates, refresh the incinerates, ability accuracy reduction. He's just a very fun character to play with, and I will show you some stuff with him. Okay, so the goal here is to hit into the block, and I'm going to show you a method that works on champs that aren't super aggressive. You know the aggressive champs, like Venom, Venom Pool, Juggernaut. Usually the big champs are super aggressive. So we'll start the fight by evading back, trying to dodge the first hit. And usually they'll come in to throw another hit, and you just evade it, and then they'll go back and dodge, or block. And that's when you want to hit them. So see if it works out. Alright, he's at 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, now we're ignited. That's when the fun comes in. Okay, not only did I find a longer fight, I found a very hard fight that we all know and hate. The Road to Labyrinth 4.5 Rhino, who is debuff immune and has Safeguard. Now you might be thinking, why would I bring Masacre to this? Well, let's go down here and check his abilities. Right here. Each time an Incinerate effect fails to apply due to an immunity, the target instead takes 874.8 energy damage. So I brought in Gwenpool to extend that ignition timing, and a crit team just to kind of accelerate this. Let's see what we can do to this debuff immune Rhino. Okay, so I start the fight off trying to get him to block using my method. He did it, and now we can just kind of work around him. You got to watch this guy because his charges can be unblockable. But fortunately, we cornered him really fast without even hitting him, really. We're already ignited. Now notice that damage, 1,402 damage for every single hit. That's because he's debuff immune, and it's applying the damage that he would be doing with the incinerates instead. I'm trying to push him to a special 3, or push myself to a special 3. I was trying to test to see if that extended debuff would do any extra damage. Unfortunately, it does not. As you can see here, it'll do the same, 1402, even though it has a very long extended timer. I guess it's just, kabam logic and timing. Let's throw some hot sauce at him. Woo! This is one of the first fights I recorded with Masacre, and I didn't feel like trying to do it again. For one, there aren't any high-level Mordos at the beginning of any fights, and you can see I'm not using my method, but I was still learning the character, and Bane really screwed me over here, so did getting hit with a special 3. But what I wanted to show you is Masacre's other use, his block penetration and his attack rating on his special 2. So just watch this fight and kind of see. Now, keep in mind, if you were playing without ban and you were being smarter and baiting specials, this would be easier. But we've got the special 1 debuff on him, which decreases block proficiency by 50%. And we're going to throw that special 2. Boom! Look at that. Let me slow that down for you and show it to you once again. Notice I'm gaining energy, or I'm gaining power as I hit into his block. Now look at the damage. Boom. 25,000 damage from a blocked hit. So in conclusion, my final thoughts on Masacre here. You gotta love the fact that he has street signs as shin guards, and boards with nails on his arms, and sawed-off shotguns, machetes, the baseball bat. Everything about him is a lot of fun. His crit rate is kind of poor. His block proficiency, though, is really good. And he's got a little armor. So he can tank a little bit of hits. His health is decent. Nothing too special about him. I think his synergies would make him a lot more fun. Especially stuff like the Deadpools here, because you can keep those bleeds going the entire fight if you just use special 1. The Gwenpool is it's a really fun it's a fun synergy. You can combine it there too. So with Venompool, he's an underrated character, but he's pretty neat. The best synergy is probably Domino, because that will pretty much keep you ignited most of the fight. This evade thing is kind of dull. The one with Red Hulk is interesting, but I don't think it's all that important. It actually could help you a little bit, because the more incinerates you get going, the easier it is to keep them up, but it's not necessary. And overall, I think that he's a really fun character. You have to be able to get that bat ignited, and that little tip I gave you on just dash back until they block and then hit into their block, that's pretty necessary. If you can get them duped and you can have a Domino on your team, and she's a great character, so I wouldn't mind having both of them, but alas, I do not. You don't even have to worry about special tricks. You can just wail into them, and you'll have yourself ignited the entire fight. All the other stuff, you've got that reducing block proficiency by 50%, and that's a really cool thing. You keep them incinerated the entire fight, and they're going to take a lot of damage, even in their blocks, especially with that special 2. There's the other thing, against an incinerated opponent, heavy attacks give additional ignition charges. So if they're already incinerated, you can parry and heavy them, and you'll get 4 ignition charges pretty much instantly. Really efficient. If you're good at using heavy, you can hit into their block like 3 times, then immediately heavy, and you'll pretty much be ignited again. And then, of course, that block penetration is great, and it doubles when the bat's ignited. The special 1, that debuff, the disorient, he throws hot sauce in their face. How cool is that? Reducing defensive ability accuracy and block proficiency by 50%. Combine that with the incinerate, and you can really do some damage. I showed you with that special 2, 25,000 damage through a block. Plus, you have the safety of after you do it, they will miss whatever the next hit is if they immediately retaliate. Another cool thing about Special 1 is it refreshes all the Incinerate debuffs. You may have saw in some of my videos, I stacked up to 17 at one point. And 17, they're only doing 84, something like that damage, but that's several times a second for each one. And if you can keep them refreshed, also with, I believe it is the Despair Mastery, you'll shut down a lot of defensive abilities like healing, It's good for limbo. I mean, it's a really, really strong thing to have because you can stack so many of them. The special attack 2 is not that impressive. It is good if you hit into their block while they have the hot sauce debuff. I'm going to call it hot sauce debuff. If they have the hot sauce debuff and incinerate going and they're blocking, that's a huge amount of attack to throw into a block. The special 3 is actually a beneficial thing for if you suck at getting them ignited, you can't get them to block, just build your way up to special 3, play the game safe. That's a 20-second incinerate, and if you do the math, it's the same as the other incinerates. However, having that long duration, every time you hit into that incinerated opponent with the bat, you're going to gain ignition charges. So it's a real easy way to get yourself going. I don't like saving for a special 3 just to start out, so try to use my method, evade their blocks or evade their hits and then wait for them to block, hit into them. Be wary, there is kind of a bug with the timing on some characters, especially if they have a special 1 ready. After the 3rd hit into the block, they can sometimes interrupt your combo and hit you anyway. So keep that in mind, and thank you for watching. I will try to do some more videos like this, but I really wanted to with Masacre because he is so much fun. I'm taking a break from Alliance stuff at this point and just getting some questing done, and Masacre makes me happy every time I use him. Again, thank you for watching, and wait for the next video.